Screen print transfers have been around for almost as long as direct screen printing. When it comes to transfers, there are many different variables, and essentially you must understand the different types of transfers and how to manipulate them. First, when it comes to transfers, you have hot peel and you have cold peel transfers. And essentially the difference is when you peel the transfer after it's been pressed. If it's a hot peel, right after it's been pressed, essentially you're going to pull that piece of paper away. If it's a cold peel, you often have to rub it with an eraser and let it sit for 30 seconds to maybe even several minutes before you actually peel the transfer paper away. Now, again, it's really going to come down to the type of ink that's really dictating if it's a hot or cold peel. Most transfers are hot peel, but special transfers like reflective, glitter, metallic, all of these types are typically a cold peel transfer. Cold peel transfers often have an advantage when it comes to opacity because it's getting a full transfer. One other type of sub kind of hot peel transfer is called hot split transfer. Hot split is essentially, again, a peeled hot, but instead of all of the ink being transferred from the paper to the garment, essentially about 80% of the ink is being transferred to the garment and the other 20% is still sitting on the paper. Now the reason why you would use a hot split transfer is sometimes the customer doesn't care as much about opacity as they do about the feel of the ink. And a hot split is going to typically be your softest transfer because you're not transferring 100% of the ink to the garment, but it is 100% cured. Now, irregardless if you use hot or cold peel transfers, it comes down to using a quality heat press, and that always guarantees the accurate time, temperature, and pressure. If you don't get these three variables right, it really doesn't matter where you buy your transfers from, they're not going to press properly. And when it comes to buying your heat press and applying the transfers, always follow the instructions of the manufacturer for the transfer. If the transfer calls for 375 degrees for 10 to 12 seconds at medium to heavy pressure, that's what it needs to be applied at. If you apply it at the wrong time, temperature, or pressure, you're not guaranteeing that that transfer is fully cured, and that's on you. So first, buy a quality press. Second, always follow the instructions. Now, when it comes to transfers, again, they're all types. We at PrintPhase offer 7 different types of custom transfers that you can purchase. First, you have your opaque hot peel, which is essentially an everyday transfer, can be applied on a wide range of garments, and it is applied at 375 for 10 seconds with medium to heavy pressure. This is the transfer that we sell 80% of the time. Again, it's a great everyday all-purpose transfer. Now, when it comes to printing onto synthetic materials like 100% polyester, you really need to keep in mind that that material can't take so much heat. Synthetic materials, when you hit them with too much heat, they'll often leave a box from the heat press. So what we need to use is a low temperature transfer. A low temperature transfer actually is applied at 275 for 10 to 12 seconds at medium to heavy pressure, but because it's applied at 100 degrees less of temperature, it can really adhere properly to that synthetic material without damaging the material. The last thing you want to do is print a product that essentially then has a box left on it. Our next transfer is essentially our soft vintage transfer. That's a hot split transfer that applies on a wide range of garments. Not the most opaque, but it's very, very soft. Another hot peel transfer is our puff. Our 3D puff is just exactly what it sounds like. The ink is actually raised as far as the look and feel, and it is very common for things like sweatshirts. Now, when it comes to our cold peel transfers, you have glitter. When it comes to glitter, you can't have so much detail in the artwork because the glitter flakes are actually kind of large and you have to use a smaller mesh size screen. Again, essentially saying you can't have as much detail. But if you need more detail than glitter, you can actually step up to metallic. Metallic is a bit different of a look than glitter, but very close. And then after you press glitter or metallic transfers, you always want to hit them again with parchment, craft, or gloss paper. If you hit it with gloss paper, you're going to give the transfer a nice glossy finish. If you hit it with parchment paper, it's going to give it more of a matte. If you hit it with craft, it's going to just kind of leave it the same. If you're doing any type of low temperature transfer, you definitely want to hit with Craft. All the other cold peel, you can use any of the three. When it comes to, again, heat transfers, it really comes down to what your customer is demanding and what you actually are going to need to be able to print. If you have any questions when it comes to the different types of heat transfers, please don't hesitate contacting us. Thank you.